some more.
Yeah, so yeah, he wants to try and be hip and get in on the group. Yeah, in terms of other matches that are announced, there's not a lot that's been announced for it, so yeah, just keep a lookout for it. But you'll probably get results coming way after anyway. But like I said, I'm sure they'll show clips here and there, whether it's through YouTube or their own media. So they normally do. Thank you for your question, DX1. Next, we've got interesting name here, Matt. Arm Among Men. Sounds like a good wrestling name there, if you want it. The announcing was crap at Stomping Ground, so I opted for foreign instead. And I didn't know what they were saying, but it sounded more passionate, like Mauro Ranello. What has happened to the announcing these days? Yeah, we didn't talk about the announcing from Stomping Ground, but I mean, I don't know. It does sound a bit all the same, but I'll have to try that. I'll have to try. Maybe you listen to the Spanish or Japanese or whoever else is doing it now. They do sound a little bit more happier when you see them when they're always going through the list of foreign announcers, don't they, Matt? But I don't know. Are we getting a little bit bored now of the announcing of WWE at the moment, or it just seems to be saying the same stuff sometimes?
Yeah, they do, and the whole thing. Corey Graves, he used to be good. He used to actually say it how from a true wrestling perspective of a fan, but now he's too set on being the next Bobby Heenan or the next Jesse Ventura, and it's just grating,
Yeah.
Sometimes he likes one wrestler 1 week and then he's turned on the next just because they've changed allegiance, like to face the heel. It's not as bad as it has been at times, because I remember, say in the mid 2000s, it was terrible, the commentary that they had back then. I mean, some of the people they had on there, like Josh Matthews, Todd Grisham, and all this stuff, they didn't really turn out best for WWE.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the thing is, it's like I like Renee, but then when she's on like the commentary, her kind of role in it is so the words she says, like, it's just terrible. I mean, I don't know who.
Back to you, Cole.
Yeah, it's like that. It really is like. It's just like she'll say something like, "What's his problem?" or he's really bad, or he is the dead man.
That Bobby Lashley one was the worst one.
Oh,
Take care of you, Renee. What does he mean?
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, we know that wasn't going anywhere now, don't we?
Yeah.
Maybe there was something in that. I'm sure that's Vince's way of getting back there, isn't it? You'll probably make her do something now in a storyline, won't he? To get back at John Moxley. But yeah, I mean, the commentating is just really off. I will try. Since you've said that, I will give that a go at the next pay-per-view. At the moment, I start to feel a little bit bored, and I feel like I need a little bit of a lift when I'm watching the damn thing. I'll put on some other foreign commentating. I'll see how it comes across. I'm sure it is more passionate, and I would love Mauro Ranello to be back on the main stage. I can't believe that he's not. I think he's totally stupid when this guy calls like the best boxing fights going. In fact, he done it very recently. He had Fury fight, he had Deontay Wilder. He gets the best interviews for ESPN, all the rest of it. And yet he's on NXT, which, no disrespect to NXT, because it's great for them, and I'm not disputing that. But listen, if we're led to believe WWE is the be-all, end-all, I want to see that guy there, not anywhere else. And listen, JBL's not about now, so come on. Get him up there, because I think he's an excellent announcer. And to your point, Matt, on Corey Graves, I totally agree with you. He was one of my favourites, and I used to compare him to like the Gary Neville of football. He was doing for wrestling, but now I feel like, oh man, he's becoming his own. He's sort of building his own hype. Sort of like he's putting his own bits all the time now. But yeah, we'll. I think it's difficult with announcing. It is a tough job, no doubt about it, and I do feel for Michael Cole especially, because even Jim Ross has said that he wouldn't be able to do the job that Michael Cole does now, because there's so much promoting, there's so much in between. It's more than just calling wrestling matches, because you have to talk about storylines and all this other stuff. It's not enough just to call a match anymore. So I think it's hard, because the presentation is just so different to what we're used to. Okay, Matt. Stay lucky now. Come on, WWE. Really, this is bloody shite. Why can't they fix the obvious? Stop the 50-50 shit. Everyone is average. The only guy who's protected happens to be Shane. It's pissing me off. Stay lucky. Well, he didn't even put stay lucky at the end of that, so he must be upset because he always says to me stay lucky. So stay lucky's not happy, Matt. I suppose really we agree with him, I'm guessing, to most of that. Just not as passionately angry, but I think we're there with him, aren't we, Matt? 50-50 is not good. And
yeah, I got to the point now with Shane McMahon. If I never see him again, that'll be too soon.
Yeah, God dear. We thought when he came back, we thought, wow, what a beautiful surprise. How wrong I was on that. I just feel like, look, let's just get the two guys together, Triple H and Shane, and let's just have a fight. Put them in the octagon. Just get it over and done with. Okay, here's the main man, Jimbo, wrestler squad number 9. Okay, I think I have to concede that WWE isn't going to get better anytime soon. Stomping Ground was good, but only good in today's awful slim pickings. If this was in the heyday, this was actually terrible. One good thing is Ricochet. How far will WWE push him? My opinion is by the time we get to Survivor Series, he will be a mid-carder. Your thoughts? So thank you, Jimbo, as always. Yeah, difficult with Ricochet. Like I said when we was summarising, I feel it might not be Vince's go-to guy, but I think at a US level, he's happy to have him there. Listen, I don't think you've got to remember, not everyone can be a main eventer. I mean, there's not enough room. But what is important is that a guy like Ricochet is treated special, like a Rob Van Dam, like a Rey Mysterio, and that, when we see Ricochet, we want to feel excited. What we don't want to happen, Matt, is the situation like so many guys, that they start coming out and it's just the same old. I mean, what was the Kalisto, for instance? I mean, look what happened to him. He was hot at one point, and then all of a sudden they just keep chucking him out to get, thrown around. And that was it. I mean, sometimes they're really for you, and then sometimes they're not. What do you think, Matt? Where do you see Ricochet's career path with WWE?
Yeah, I hope they do continue to build it, because there is that potential to make a real big deal out of him and make him something special within the WWE, and that would be what he's deserving of, really. He is quite unique to them in the fact that he is someone that's got the skill set that he has, and he doesn't have to wear a mask. They spent ages looking for someone of lucha libre style, and they were looking for the next Rey Mysterio. But Ricochet has that charisma naturally, and that athleticism, and does remind me of a young Rey Mysterio. So there would be no one better to sort of take that mantle and sort of get the kids invested in him than Ricochet.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, last couple of questions here. Pete, do you see Gallows and Anderson joining All Elite? That just came in a little while ago. I personally don't. I got a feeling they might head back to Japan, but I could be wrong. But I think Japan are crying out for guys at the moment, and I think with the club connection, Japan would pay them a decent amount. I think All Elite would have to be really... they may get them because they're going to be high on tag teams. And quite frankly, Matt, I liked I actually think Carl Anderson and Gallows are really decent. But in WWE, since they've got them, Matt, they have done nothing with those guys, have they? In terms of getting their potential. All they've done is goofy stuff with them. The comedy stuff, which I hated. But in terms of do you remember when they signed around the same time Nakamura did, didn't they? And they were straight on the main roster. They didn't even have to do the NXT stuff, did they? Which was odd. So I thought, they're going to do the club. No, not at all. They're not going to do the club. They didn't do it properly. And it was, what is what it is. What do you think, mate? You see him going AEW or? Do you think they're...
Yeah, I would say I do see him going there.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the biggest draws of AEW is the Young Bucks, and like we just said, they're going to need fresh opponents sooner or later. And Gallows and Anderson, they come in with a big name, and the people watching AEW, a lot of them will remember how good those guys were.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be a good call. I mean, Tony Khan said they are after tag teams. They're going to be bringing more tag teams in because they're going to make a big deal of it. And it's a good call because, quite frankly, WWEs is a shambles. So that's where you want to go. You want to try and execute what you can do best. Steve now, last question. I think WWE could get so much more out of Daniel Bryan being at the top with Kofi Kingston. Why have they just dropped this? And are WWE trying to get rid of Daniel Bryan? I don't think they're trying to get rid of him, but I do feel like they're trying to... I don't know. I think... I'm surprised he's not had more of a longer feud with Kofi Kingston, quite frankly, after WrestleMania, because he did get dropped, didn't it, Matt, really?
Yeah.
Soon after. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think, listen, if I had it my way, I'd say Daniel Bryan is still arguably the biggest over baby face they've got in the company, if treated properly. I mean, easily. He is the guy because... And the reason is... And the reason he's so over... Because everyone goes... It's not just... He is an amazing wrestler, Matt. We both know that. He's a fantastic wrestler. But there's loads of great wrestlers on the roster, isn't there? I mean, we could say that about everybody to a huge degree. Look at Cesaro. Look at... But the thing that stands out with Daniel Bryan, and I'm not taking away anything from his ability, because he's an incredible wrestler, and you only have to go back to Ring of Honor. But do you know what gets him over is the fact that on that TV show, that damn Total Divas, he came across, right, someone that most people can identify with. And he's just quite normal. He's got no ego. He's quite down to earth. And that's what people like about the guy. There's a nice kind of shyness about him, and it's very likable. But for some reason, WWE, they look at the guy like Daniel Bryan, and they think, hang on a minute, how can we market him? What's happening here? We've got a 6'3" Roman Reigns, good-looking guy. He's got all the cool stuff. He's got the hit music. But Daniel Bryan, he's got this weird music, but yet they're loving it, and they're loving this but it's all because he's very likable in real life, and I think that's the difference. And when he was talking, I felt like he was talking to the average guy at home could relate to, and I feel like with anybody else it's very difficult for them to do that. But that is, for me, I still say, Matt, that Daniel Bryan is probably the most biggest babyface I have on the roster, and yet he's currently a heel. But it just goes to show you where everything's mixed up, quite frankly, at the moment. But what about for you, Matt? Do you think that's the end of Daniel Bryan now? The last hurrah we're ever going to see from him at a big level from him?
So.
Or
I don't think you can never say never in WWE terms. And he is too good to just be discounted like that. I mean, yeah, he's not where people would like to see him, not in the main event title picture, but he does still have a title around his waist. That's more than a lot of these people that get sort of dropped and forgotten can say right now. This is a very highly competitive WWE situation where airtime is very scarce, especially with this wild card. People are turning up twice now in 1 week rather than just once. I mean, we know Kofi Kingston's going to get featured on SmackDown, yet he's turning up on Raw now. So, that was a slot for another Raw guy that could have been taken, and this is happening a lot on both shows. So it is highly competitive, and I'm sure he will get his fair shot at the title again someday. It's just the fact that he's very versatile. He plays a heel just as well as he plays a good guy, and he's doing a sterling job of playing a heel right now. And it's one of those good characters where you hate him because technically everything he's saying is right, but you don't want to actually have to do what someone like him is telling you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure it's not the end of Daniel Bryan, but I think in terms of WWE stock behind him, that might have long gone. But I think in terms of Daniel Bryan still being a main event level, that you just can't discount it, because I think he's overcome WWE's ridiculous logic, and I think even they realise that now. So yeah, hopefully there's more to come. But like Matt said, he's doing something, so you can't be too worried in the meantime. Yes, so yeah, thank you for everybody that